You think your worst day is a cold coffee or a flat tire. Michael Christopher Airo's worst day hasn't ended in 7 years, and he did nothing wrong. Let me ask you something. What's worse than being falsely accused? Being sentenced to 15 years in prison for something that was never witnessed, never proven, and never even remembered by the alleged victim. Let me introduce you to Michael Christopher Airo, a California man, a teacher, a veteran of kindness, someone who made it to 38 years old with no criminal history. Zero.
Zilch.
Not even a speeding ticket that stuck.
But now?
He's rotting in a prison cell.
Why?
Because prosecutors requested 40 years over what amounts to an alleged kiss on the stomach that never even happened. Yes, you heard me. A kiss. On the stomach. Allegedly. More than a decade ago. No photos. No videos. Not even a witness. Jane Doe, yes, the alleged victim, originally said nothing ever happened. Her mother, the adult, the parent figure, testified under oath that nothing happened. So why is Michael Airo in prison? Because somewhere along the way, facts stopped matching. Breaking news. You can now be in prison for 40 years based on someone else's bad memory, 15 years after the fact, because of coaching by their angry sister and police who want a conviction. Of course, historically no issues in his personal life. Of course, historically no issues in his personal professional life as a teacher serving children. Let's dig into the facts of this so-called case. There were no eyewitnesses. The sister and her boyfriend saw nothing, because there was nothing to see. Michael Airo wasn't some creepy loner. He had a full calendar showing no opportunity to do anything, a career, and a history of teaching children with zero issues for over 20 years. He was known in the community for his ethics and professionalism. Airo has absolutely no criminal history or background of any issues. Multiple high-caliber individuals spoke to his character, credibility, and history of no criminal past. The crime? An alleged kiss on the stomach during his youth, when Jane Doe was a child and he was barely older. Also a minor when first involved with Jane's mom. Yes, the mom. The one who romantically pursued Airo when he was 17.
She was nearly 40 at the time.
A single mother. Her own relationship with Michael was filled with red flags. Yet somehow, Michael is the only one on trial.
Let me repeat that.
The one adult in the house, Jane's mother, who had sex with Airo when he was a teenager and brought him into their home, she was never charged with anything. In California, if you're groomed by an adult woman and falsely accused 15 years later of a kiss, you go to jail. Welcome to justice. Michael wasn't Jane's father. They were never married. He was simply the mother's boyfriend, a teenage boyfriend at that. And Jane? She didn't even remember anything happening, not for 15 years, not even when being questioned multiple times. Her story only changed after years of suggestive questioning by her sister, who had a clear financial motive and a vendetta against Michael. Even police got involved in this charade. They called Michael in his old age, with Jane Doe suddenly reaching out to him as if by coincidence. This was entrapment and it failed, but no one cared. Michael was never attracted to minors, proven by his ignoring the entrapment actions of Jane Doe via police and Jane on Facebook. Michael was never attracted to minors. A medical exam even proved this. The prosecution ignored the science. The judge ignored the facts. Michael's own lawyer failed him. The law itself failed him. Because in the end, truth was lost to a twisted story that never held up in daylight. Evidence? Just a family grudge instead. This wasn't just a courtroom failure. This was a surgical assassination of someone's life based on no crime, no evidence, and no intent. Even in the final trial, when Jane Doe's mother took the stand and once again said nothing happened, the court turned a deaf ear. Nobody cared that the prosecution changed their story repeatedly. Nobody cared that Jane Doe never reached out to Michael. Not once in 15 years. Nobody cared that Airo was never obsessed and never contacted Jane Doe even when she and police tried to entrap him by contacting him using Facebook. Not once in 15 years did he ever contact the family, evidencing no attraction and no obsession with Jane Doe. Nobody cared that Michael Airo lived an honorable, quiet life as a teacher with no incidents doing good things for the community and world around him. Airo only teach children for decades with absolutely never any issues. Now the youth of our world lose this excellent teacher for no reason. No crime. No issue. No evidence. When nothing criminal ever occurred. Nobody cared that he was the one being groomed when he was 17. Nobody cared he was attracted to older women. Nobody cared he was not a sexual person and experienced his first girlfriend, the cougar mother at late 17 years old. Nobody cared that the only adult in the room said nothing ever happened multiple times, including the final court date that landed him in prison. Why trust a mother's sworn testimony when we can all just pretend she's irrelevant? She knows Airo and Jane Doe more than anyone. Why trust a mother's sworn testimony when we can all just pretend she's irrelevant? Why trust a mother's sworn testimony when we can all just pretend she's irrelevant? Michael Airo is now 7 years into a sentence he never deserved. He's lost his youth, his job, his name, his reputation, his life, his freedom. And still, nobody wants to read the original depositions. The ones where Jane Doe said nothing happened. The ones where her mother agreed nothing happened. The ones where a vengeful sister kept whispering falsehoods into Jane's ear for 15 years just to get back at Michael. The ones where the financial and malicious intent was characterized against Airo. Couple this with the fact Jane's sister harassed Airo for no reason in public when they bumped into each other in an unplanned public situation. Airo never deserved to be harassed. Airo never deserved to be threatened repeatedly by Jane's sister. Airo never deserved to be imprisoned for a crime that never occurred, an alleged kiss on the stomach. One I am sure I myself experienced multiple times, as do we all when parents love us and raspberry kiss our stomachs to make us laugh as a child. We have all seen the sight of this, a baby laughing uncontrollably because of a raspberry kiss to the stomach. But this never occurred. So why is Airo in prison? Airo is in prison because the Me Too movement in California imprisons the innocent because they're scared to uncover the truth. They don't want innocent men to be free. They don't fact-find. Entrapment and suggestive questioning tactics are how this case was handled. Nobody cares. All ignored. Michael is now a prisoner of injustice. He's a living cautionary tale of what happens when nobody wants to be the one to speak up. Well, I'm speaking up. I graduated from Vermont Law School with a master's in environmental law. I've worked in disaster response, data analysis, and I've served this country with honor and integrity. I've reviewed every line of this case, and it's one of the most grotesque miscarriages of justice I've ever seen. You get one life. Michael Airo is spending his behind bars for something that never happened. If you believe in truth, if you believe in evidence, if you believe innocent people should be free, then stand with me. Demand the immediate release and full pardon of Michael Christopher Airo. He was never guilty. He was never given a fair trial. And he still lives with the pain of being forgotten by justice. Let's change that. Share this. Speak up. And never stop demanding truth. Never stop demanding the innocent be freed. The good should never find themselves behind bars. Michael Christopher Airo has done so much good in this world. Michael Christopher Airo has so much more good to do in this world. Give him his freedom, so he can continue doing good things as you always has ever done. We all deserve the opportunity to meet him and learn from this amazing teacher. He is wise beyond his years, and his kindness has been taken advantage of. Your son, your brother, your father, maybe next. Stand for the truth. Stand for justice. Stand for Airo. Thank you.